What up? This is JD, the Obsessed Hobbyist here, coming at you this Saturday morning. A little cool out this morning, a little frost on everything. We hit some nice temperatures and then the temperatures plummeted again. So I got the car out one day this week. Did a little cleanup around the house. We did some leaf pickup and stuff like that. But yeah, it's I think like 10 degrees this morning or 15 degrees. It is freaking cold. So yeah, car's parked for today. Might be warmer tomorrow afternoon, so we might take it out tomorrow afternoon after church. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys like a fill-in video here, a rundown of everything that transpired over the detail and everything that's going on. We got a lot going on. Come April and May here, we got car shows and activities I want to do with my family, and even want to get back to a little welding project. Me and my daughter Shelby welded up these dice that I had, and we kind of made these into like hangers or ornaments kind of. I got 2 more of these to do, and we were really trying to finish dialing the titanium MiG 140 from Harbor Freight. Yeah, this was kind of the first welding project we did with that welder, so some of the welds aren't great, you know, but trying to get the settings good and just figure out some of the functions. It's got a couple different functions on it, and just testing some of that stuff out. So they came out pretty good, but definitely could be a little bit better. So we're going to work on that. And then once we get it dialed in, hopefully on the second set of dice, I'm hoping sometime this year to do a welding cart project using the Trat Fab conversion kits for Harbor Freight cabinets for the U.S. General stuff. So they have, if you haven't checked them out, it's Trat, T-R-A-T, Fab on Facebook and Instagram. That's where I follow them anyways. And they make some pretty awesome kits to allow you to mount bottles, welders. They even have a jig top for most of the U.S. General's carts, and up to their 27-inch toolbox, which I have 2 27s here already. So we might be revamping the garage a little bit, revamping the west wall, and doing a welding cart with one of my 27-inch cabinets and mounting the welder to the side of it, putting a jig top on top of it, and bottles on one side, so that we got a cool welding rig set up. And eventually I'd like to have a plasma cutter too, so I want to put 2 shelves on the one side so I can have my MIG and a plasma, and then yeah, and then we'll have the bottles on the other side, and you know, cable management around the back of it, and the fab top on top, maybe a little vise on it or something. And I do have tubing notcher and a small metal brake also, so trying to figure out how to incorporate those into the project. And maybe some type of detachable thing that we can mount, you know, like a 2-inch receiver. I see some guys use a 2-inch receiver where you can make a plate off of it and then mount your, you know, vise on it or whatever. So I might have some things like that we can do. So, but that'll be a project for later in the year. But yeah, that's where that goes right now. Just trying to get, garage is a little bit of a mess, you know, winter, we kind of pack everything in here, and we don't have as much storage as I would like for, you know, garage stuff. I would say stuff you don't want to keep in your basement, like a welder. I want to keep that in my garage, but you know, some other odds and ends. But yeah, it gets a little packed in here in the winter time. Wish the garage was a whole nother bay bigger at least. But we got to work with what we got. So spring's coming around. We'll get the garage cleaned up, give you guys a full rundown on the garage setup once that happens. Mach 1's doing pretty great. I got about 400 miles left to go before I hit the 3,000 mile mark. She's got like 2,600 miles on it. I think it just rolled over 2,600 miles, so we got about 400 miles to go. And then we'll get it back over to my brother's shop and get it up on the 4-post lift and get all the fluids changed in this entire car. I know with the GT350, when I had that, they recommended that you do a full fluid change within 500 to 1,000 miles, like break-in miles basically. Definitely change the engine oil, which this guy did change the engine oil at about 800 miles. So the oil looks pretty clean because he didn't put any real hard miles on it since then. So yeah, so like you're supposed to change the trans fluid, diff fluid, and engine oil. I also flushed the brake systems out. I planned on tracking both of those cars. I do plan on tracking this car. I don't know if it'll happen this year, but I do want to do at least one track day in this car and maybe a couple autocrosses. I like doing those just to get the feel of the car. It helps give you a better feel. So when you're street driving it and you want to drive hard, you got a better feel for everything. But also it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy track days. The only problem for me is it gets expensive. Tires, brakes, oil changes, just wear and tear on stuff. Just the service stuff gets expensive. I mean, tires for this car are $2,000 installed, about that $2,100. So we're definitely gonna have to do a set of those this year because the Cup 2s don't last so long. So we're gonna go to Michelin Pilot Sport for us at some point. But yeah, stuff just gets expensive when you're tracking it and you're going through those expendables. So I like to do a track day in the car. So I flush the brake systems every year because some of the events that I go to, not necessarily the autocrosses, but the track days for sure, they dip your brake fluid and test your brake fluid out to check moisture level and age. So I just usually flush them right at the beginning of the year, which is what I did with both my other two cars. And never had an issue with any type of brake fluid boiling over or anything like that, or having it test bad. I use the MAch RBF 600 fluid, which I used in my Performance Pack GT car, and I used that in the GT350, and it performed flawlessly. Never had an issue. Worked great. So, and both those cars were basically on stock rotors and pads with the Brembos, which obviously this car has Brembo on the front, and more aggressive pad setup, I believe, all around. So the stock stuff works really well. It's just the fluid that takes a beating after an event or two. And since this car is 4 years old, the fluid would definitely not test appropriately. So we're going to flush the brake system with MAch again, the RBF 600, and then we will change all the fluids in the car with all factory fluids. Engine oil will be the 5W50, and then I'm using the factory transmission oil and rear diff fluid with additive for that. Coolant's good. I don't see any issues with the coolant yet. If I do some engine modifications that I'd like to do in the future, then I'll probably switch out a thermostat and go to Mishimoto's antifreeze, which is what I did in my blue car. That car was also on E85. That is also the plan for this car, is to tune this car on E85. I've already talked to Lund Racing, who I used for my blue car, and that was a flawless tune. That car made big power, NA anyways, and was definitely at a half-mile shootout. I didn't ran tool faster, just slightly faster than a GT350, so it was definitely making some jam. So we're going to do the same thing on this, because this engine is the Gen 3 Coyote, but it does have, from what I understand that Lund told me, is it already has the upgraded Ford Performance injectors from either a GT350 or a GT500. It has the GT350 intake manifold already on it, and it already has the GT350 cold air intake basically already on it. So it already has a full intake upgrade, which is what I had to do to my blue car to make the power that I did. That car got a 2018 manifold, Ford Performance 52-pound injectors, and a JLT cold air intake to do the E85 tune on that car, and then Lund gave me the E85 race tune on that. And that car, like I said, was at that point in time just slightly faster than a GT350. I just slightly, ever so slightly pulled on them, so at the end of a half mile, I think I was about a car length ahead. So I'm hoping this car is making about the same power blue was, you know, which will be just a little bit higher than a GT350, or right about there, because that's the only thing I feel that this car is lacking, is the 526 horsepower my GT350 had, and those extra RPMs. Like that car revved to 8250. This car only revs to 7400 right now. So I can definitely tell and feel the lack of RPM and the lack of that extra 46 horsepower. This car only makes about 480. So other than that, the alignment is screwed. It has been super twitchy. I almost wonder if that's the reason the guy got rid of the car and didn't drive it very much, because the alignment was not good. And I don't know why. You know, on both my other cars, the alignment wasn't good either. They were both pretty twitchy. I use a Gry-Align tool, which you guys can look those guys up online. They actually make a tool. It's a 3D printed tool for your phone that you can put it in, full app. You buy a lifetime subscription, just one-time purchase, and then you can use it to check your alignment. You could do an alignment if you can get your car up in the air high enough and obviously keep pressure on the wheels to be able to get to all the components to adjust them. I can't do that, so the only thing I can do at this point is check it. But this thing has an incredible amount of toe on the front and rear, so all 4 tires are going like this, scrubbing into the pavement. And then it's got abnormal camber all the way around that's not even anywhere. You know, and it's not set up for the track, it's not set up for the street, it is twitchy, and we are going to get that fixed. So I have a good friend, Mike Gromus, that has always aligned most of my stuff. He's kind of semi-retired, but he helps me out once in a while, as long as I give him a hand, because he's getting up there in age, old Gromy. But yeah, we're gonna hit his shop in a couple of weeks once the weather clears, because pretty much all next week it's supposed to rain. So a couple weeks, we'll get the car to the alignment shop. I'll try to video some of that while I'm there and give you guys a rundown of what we do. But we're just going to put like basically an aggressive street alignment on this car. I'm not going to do a track alignment on it. That's overkill for the road, and you start wearing tires irregularly and getting camber wear and things like that. Like on my GT350, even with an aggressive street alignment, I still went through a set of front tires before I went through a set of rears. Just from camber wear. So, because I drive too much in a straight line and I'm not doing enough track days and getting over on the side of the tire. So, yeah, so we'll put an aggressive street alignment on it, just a good street alignment on it, and that way she's not so twitchy. Excuse me. I let my wife drive it once, and she was actually nervous to drive it once we got on some uneven roads. Like you get in some back roads where like you have the road that goes like this. And the tires are already super wide, so it's already hitting the outside groove here and the inside groove here on each tire, you know, and you're already getting some twitchiness and tram lining, they call it. So that's even worse when you have an alignment that's as messed up as this one. So yeah, so I'm super excited to get that fixed and get this puppy dialed in. But other than that, this thing, I mean, it rails corners now. I can only imagine what it's going to feel like once the alignment's corrected. I have a couple roads on my way home from work that have some really slow corners, some really fast corners, and it is rather impressive how much grip this car generates. With the lack, I mean, it's got some aero on it, but I wouldn't call this extreme aero. It's like mid aero, you know, like it's got the extra splitter on the front and the extra wicker bill on the back, wing back there. It's basically the GT500 setup back there. So yeah, it's rather impressive. Reminded me a lot of the last time I was at K1 Speed go-karts. I used to do some go-karting back in the day. My brother did a lot of it, and my friend Nick, and but like the karts, when you get into a corner with a go-kart hard enough and you're leaning on that front tire, you know, the outside front tire hard enough, sometimes you can lift a rear tire, and I was almost doing that at K1. Just bending karts through corners, it was pretty fun. And that's what this thing feels like right now. I can fully trust the front end, and that trust is only going to get better with a good alignment, but it generates a lot of grip, more grip than, I mean, even these seats have some good bolsters on them. They're not race seats, but they've got good bolsters. It's almost pulling me out of the seat. I'm having to hold on to the steering wheel pretty darn hard. So maybe if I do my track days or getting into more track days, I definitely would put like just swap a seat out for the day or whatever for the weekend. Put a track seat in it, you know, like a fixed bucket seat, you know, from Corbeau or somebody. But yeah, so that's basically the rundown of the car. The detail went okay. Is it to my standards? Absolutely not. I don't know how this car got so trashed in 2,195 miles, but it was really bad. It's probably one of the worst cars I've ever had to buff, to be perfectly honest. And that's minus my black GT350, which me and my friend Brad had an 8-hour day in, so call it 16 man hours between two guys, you know. I got 35 hours probably in this car, screwing around with the stupid hood and a couple other areas that just did not want to buff. I almost wonder if somebody at the dealership that it went to, like these dealerships are now thinking they can ceramic coat cars and they have nobody there that knows how to paint correct them. So they're just ceramic coating cars, and I wonder if it had some type of coating on it, because the hood buffed hard as a rock. And I mean, the rest of the car did not buff that easy either. It did buff easier than the hood, but it still was not great. And so it was just a struggle the whole time. Luckily, my wonderful wife helped me out a lot. She was there a lot with me, and we still got some areas that I still am not super excited about, but the other thing is I'm going to drive this car. So it's going to get dirty. It's going to get scratched. It's going to get rock chips. All my other cars did. I just enjoy my cars. This is not a garage queen. We're going to put 8,000 to 10,000 miles on this car a year, and that's just how it's going to be. It's already got chips and stuff like that, so it's like whatever, you know. The tires are super sticky, so they fling rocks up on the sides, and it just is what it is. The last thing I really want to do detail-wise to the car is the glass has a lot of water spotting, so I bought this product that is a like glass scrub that has like a little bit of grit in it and some chemicals in it to help lift the water damage out of the glass. So we're going to do that because I tried to just straight buff it out and it didn't really work. So I'm going to try that to lift it a little bit and then maybe polish the glass, and then we'll coat the glass. I have a glass coating, and then we'll get some window tint done, because I pretty much do 20% window tint on all my cars, the ceramic tint. So we're going to do that, keep the UV light out. That back window got to be tinted, because like it just lets sunlight in and it just bakes your rear seat and the back of your front seat. So if anything, like you're just doing it so that it protects everything in the back, because it will just sun damage everything. But yeah, so everything's coated, slick. I gave it its first car wash. I could post a couple of pictures of the water beading up on the hood that I could get from inside the windshield. I mean, even on the sticker, it beads up like crazy. So that's awesome. And literally drove it home and parked it here, and it's got a few water spots on it. Nothing bad. It's pretty much looks clean. Other than the glass, I could clean the glass off a little better. But yeah, that's definitely not super happy with the detail process. Also learning new product. Also, I haven't done it in like, I mean, the last car I did was my GT350 with my friend Brad, but I had him here to assist me the whole time. So, and he's got awesome skills. So, yeah, that was the last car with detail. That was 6 years ago or something, you know? Yeah, 6 years ago. It was 2020 that we got rid of that car. So, yeah, so it was just a process of learning. It was a good learning process either way. You know, I learned a lot. And we're going to take those skills and we're going to do the Maverick this year, my Ford Maverick. So that's going to be something else I do. I have enough product to do both cars. That was the deal. And maybe even my wife's car. I'd like to do all three cars this year. Bought my Maverick. And – since then, obviously, it's gotten, 15 50 to 60,000 miles worth of driving in the last couple of years. So it's definitely been on the road a lot, sitting outside every day, sitting at my workplace every day where we have gravel dust and stuff flying from our parking lot. Like I work in the middle of a field, so harvest season, man, it gets dust all over it. And then end of last year, we had a microburst come through this area, like a whole bunch of microburst storms and tornadoes and stuff. And I'm on my way home and get caught in basically a tornado of corn husks. And those corn husks slapped the side of my truck and put a scratch on the roof, the door, and the bedside. So I want to touch those areas up. And now that I got something aggressive enough to do the hood on this thing, I know it's going to take those scratches out pretty easy. So that was part of the learning experience. I learned that. And I know I got product that's good enough to be able to take care of those things. So we're going to do the Maverick this year and get rid of that damage. Just recoat all the plastics and recoat everything, and then ceramic coat that vehicle. And then hopefully later on in the year, do the wife's car too. Her car got in a little accident a couple years ago, and so like just want to blend paints and things like that and just make her car look cherry. Yeah, other than that, we're going to do some updates in the garage. Like I talked about the welding cart. I'm debating on the floors. It's a big project if I like basically epoxy the floors, or if you do some type of Swiss track or something, but I don't know if that's going to work with all the welding stuff. I'd have to probably weld outside or something like that, and that's not convenient, obviously. So I'm like, I'd like to do the floors in here, but that's a big project, and I'm not sure I'm ready for that this year. Other than that, yeah, a couple house projects, things like that. But yeah, we'll be heavy into the car shows in May, like almost every weekend. Gonna try to hit like a Rockford Cars and Coffee. I heard that's awesome. Our local barbecue spot, Smoking Coop, give them a shout out. They're up in Belvedere. Some of the best barbecue I've had in Illinois, besides a couple of buddies that have cooked for me in the past, and one of them had restaurants in Chicago and won best ribs in Chicago like 3 years in a row at the Taste, what's their, it's like Barbecue Fest in Chicago or something. I can't remember what they call it. Taste of Chicago, maybe. Haven't been there in a long time. He moved away a while ago, a lot of years ago, maybe a decade ago. But yeah, those guys taught me how to cook and gave me tips and stuff like that. And I had another buddy that was making barbecue sauces and rubs, and so I got into that pretty heavy. So my friend Jerry used to cook for me all the time. We made some good food, good meat. But Smoking Coop, one of the only guys I know that cooks true hickory, got an awesome dry rub. He's got pretty good sauces. He's definitely grown over the last few years and learned how to expand his business, but keep the food pretty dang good. You know, it's hard to upscale your barbecue business and keep the food good and maintained well when you're cooking in big smokers. You know, there's a science to how that stuff gets smoked and how the smoke is going through to keep all the smoke evenly across all your meat, so all the meat tastes the same as it comes out of there, you know. So shout out to him for trying to keep all that the same. But he has cruise nights on Wednesday nights, I believe. They always do. So definitely going to take the car to a couple of those. Definitely going to hook up with my brother on the GTR and do some cruises with him. We're going to go to Iron Gate Motor Condos, which if you don't know what those are, look that up. They are in Naperville, Illinois. The Iron Gate Motor Condos is basically a luxury condo for car guys. Where car guys can store cars, work on cars. They basically buy a condo that they can turn into a shop or a custom garage. Some of them have lofts and bars and lounge areas and big TVs, lots of automotive decoration, I'll call it. You know, the floor is done, the wall's done, car art, you know, like all kinds of stuff. A couple of guys were into bicycles, which I happen to be into bicycles too. So some guys had some cool bicycles up there, like original Stingray bicycles and stuff like that in their garages. So like really cool place to go visit. They do 3 shows a year. The first one's in May, beginning of May. I think it's the second weekend of May. But go to their thing and look their website and look that up. We're going to be hitting those. Hopefully with my dad, my uncle, and my brother. The two M3s and his GTR and the Mach 1. So yeah, be looking for us at all those shows. Again, as of right now, I am the president of the DeKalb County Mustang Crew, DCMC. You can find us on Facebook. That's where we post the most. Trying to get everything back up and running with that. Our season opener is May 16th at Hope Vine Brewery in the Fox Valley Mall from 3 to 7 p.m. I have some conflicting stuff that has come up, like my daughter's graduation that night, but I am going to buzz out there, open that show, and have to buzz home for a graduation. But yeah, I am the current president of DCMC, so yeah, trying to get more Mustang people together, more Mustang people out. We're definitely looking and planning cruises for the rest of the year. There was always some cruises that I loved back in the day, like Galena, Illinois, Starve Rock, you know, Chicago, just cruising with my boys to Chicago or something for the night and just having some good hot dogs at some cool places or whatever, you know, like, I like to drive. I don't like to sit, or I like to drive somewhere and sit and eat some good food and drive back, you know, or whatever. So, driving should always be part of the show to me. You know, it's part of the show. We're showing off our cars as we're driving down the road. We're showing off our cars when we're parked. And the investment is in the drive. That is a new shirt you can find on tpublic.com under the Obsessed Hobbyist page. We have a couple of shirts on there. I'm working on some more designs. I'm trying to work on some designs like my Mach 1 shirt here, my car caricature, that I can... Right now I got lucky with this one and how I used AI to help me design it. But like a lot of them aren't to the right resolution, so I'm trying to find some software to get me to the right resolution. If any of you know AI generated software that can produce large image, like at least 150 DPI, 5500 by 5000 pixels is what I'm trying to look for. That's kind of the resolution I need. If any of you know of anything like that, that can help me generate images the way I want them to be generated, or edit them myself, you know, once I get close. I'm not a full graphic design artist. I went to school for it for a little bit, but that was 30 years ago. So using AI to help me out on that kind of stuff and design what I want to design. But if you know any software that can help me design that, that'd be great. Because I got all these t-shirt designs in mind. My brother, my dad, my uncle all want designs of their cars on shirts, which, yeah, that's my team, is my dad, my brother, and my uncle. So, you know, and then do some stuff for DCMC and the Mustang Crew. Yeah, and keep putting shirts up, you know. So, yeah, if you know of software that can help me with that, that'd be great. I think that's about it, guys. Yeah, so car's good. Garage is going to get some updates. Car's going to get some updates. Doing some welding projects with my daughter this year. A couple of house projects. And lots of car shows and cruises with the wife. Hopefully going to try to get action camera or something like that, or get the phone mounted in the car so I can get you some in-car footage, and maybe even some you know, good roller shots of the car and stuff like that. So, all right, well, you guys all enjoy your weekend, and see you on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.